The first one, what drives value? Let's have the pizza guy understand what his business is worth. How do you drive value, or what drives value in a business?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first step is you have to put yourself in the shoes of the acquirer and say, what am I buying? And I think what you're buying is a business that can succeed without the owner. So if you, Gino, the pizza guy, are leaving and selling the business, what am I inheriting? What am I buying? Is everything dependent on Gino? Because Gino knows the customers. Gino's the ones that gets, they're loyal to Gino and the way he makes pizza. And so as a result of that, Gino leaves, there's nothing left. And that's the definition of a worthless business. The opposite is a business that can thrive without its owner, that's not dependent on the owner, that the operations of the business can continue. And so recurring revenue is obviously, to people who own apartments, this is like music to their ears, but even people who own entrepreneurial businesses, this is the secret sauce that allows you to answer the question, this business will continue without me. Because if you've got recurring revenue, people want to pay on subscription or annual contract, the implication is that they're going to continue that into the future when you leave. So if there's one sort of piece of raw material that you want to put in place, you've really got to figure out that recurring revenue model. I think that's probably the first step in really trying to create a business that can thrive without you as the owner.
Let's understand what the typical acquirer looks like and what that avatar looks like. Because I think if we can understand who they are and what's important to them, we can reverse engineer this. So what does the typical acquirer look like and what's most important to them?
Yeah, for sure. There's three types. The first is an individual investor. This is typically someone who's buying themselves a job. They've left a corporate job. They maybe gotten downsized. This is happening a lot lately as all these, Microsoft and others are laying people off. They've got money in their jeans and they're saying, I want to move to Boulder. I want to move to San Diego. I'm going to buy a business. And so they're looking to buy a job effectively. And so the more systematized your business is, the easier it is for them to learn, the more they can borrow money using an SBA loan to buy your company, the more likely they are to buy that business. And so again, they're likely to have to borrow some money. And so in order for the bank to approve that loan, you're going to want to have systems. The business is going to want to have recurring revenue so that the bank can say, yeah, this business will likely survive the change of ownership. That's the first group and they're individual investors. They typically buy businesses for less than $3 or $4 million. The second group are private equity investors. Private equity investors right now are rolling up just about every industry. They are financial engineers. They are buy low, sell high guys and gals. They are effectively trying to buy a business, stitch it together with other businesses and sell it for a higher multiple. So the private equity group makes their money in 2 or 3 different ways. Number one, they buy low, sell high. So they buy your business for usually less than it might be worth, or they attempt to do that. And then they're going to go sell it downstream. And they get a higher multiple because they aggregate multiple businesses. So bigger companies sell for better multiples. So the bigger the business, the better the multiple. So they get a lift there. They also get more efficiency. So the bigger the company, they can have shared resources and get more efficiencies in the company. They can also get raw materials at a discount because they've got more buying power. And so that's how they make money. And they use debt in order to buy your business. And again, private equity groups are trying to understand how to they need to apply debt to your business. And so the more bankable your company is, the more debt they can get, the more they can pay you for your company. So again, bankable businesses have recurring revenue and they're not dependent on their owner. And private equity groups usually buy companies with at least $1 million of EBITDA. So call it 10 millions of top line revenue is usually where they start to get interested. They've gone down market from there in certain situations, especially if they're doing a roll up. But most of the time, they're looking for relatively big companies. So again, call it 10 million on the top, $1 million on the bottom. And then the third group are strategic acquirers. So they're buying something that your business can do for them, where your company ends up being worth more to an acquirer in their hands than it is in your hands as the owner. And as you might imagine, the strategic acquirer will typically pay the most for a company because, again, they've got more to gain from buying your business. So kind of from generally the lowest bidders to the highest bidders. It would go individual investors, private equity groups to strategics.
To the
That's
premium.
to premium multiple.